So, welcome back to another Half and Half Scarf football podcast with me, Nick, and my mate Dom. We've got our slightly amended new logo on there, which has got our strap line: two fans, two teams, never on the same scarf. And that's because we had a bit of feedback from somebody on LinkedIn who, I apologise, I've not made a note of their name, who suggested that the original Half and Half Scarf football podcast might suggest that we actually like these things. And it's fair to say that Dom and I, the co-hosts, have nothing but hatred for the Half and Half scarf and all that it brings. So we've called it Two Fans, Two Teams, Never on the Same Scarf. And for those who don't know, who are new to the podcast, and welcome if you are, Dom and I are both season ticket holders at Middlesbrough, long-standing season ticket holders at Middlesbrough. And also Dom, because of geography and where he lives over in the Wirral, is a season ticket holder at Everton, but he wouldn't be seen dead in a half and half scarf. But we watch a lot of football live. I'm a home and away fan. Dom is two club fans in terms of two stadiums, and I watch an awful lot of football on TV as well as once a year. Dom and I and my son Rob go over to Dortmund as well to watch live football in Germany. So yeah, that's a bit about that and why it's called the Half and Half Scarf. For those who don't know, this is episode 47. So if you are new, where have you been? Have a look at the back catalogue. We've got some really interesting stuff. Today, we've just called this episode Annoying Stuff. And we've called it Annoying Stuff because it's right in our heartland of who we know our audience are. But without further ado, and we always talk about football shirts, without further ado, let's talk about the football shirts we're wearing. I'll start with mine this time, Dom. We usually start with yours. But I've got our shirt on that we wore when we were last in the Premier League. And I've worn it on the basis that the first thing we're going to talk about, and we're not going to kill it, we're not going to do it to death, but as Borough fans, it would be very remiss of us as we record this on Wednesday, the 13th of May. Thursday, the 14th of May. Actually, it's Thursday, isn't it, man?
Yes.
I don't even know what day it is. It would be very, very remiss of us not to talk briefly about Spygate. So I'm wearing my last time we were in the Premier League away shirt, which I've always loved. It's a classic beauty with a nice chevron on it. So that's that.
It's a
But
lovely
Dom,
kit, that. I never bought that one, but I was saying to you off air, I do really like that one. It's
yeah.
it's it's in my colour range, and yeah, I do like it. It's a very nice kit.
Well, I don't like yellow cut. I don't like
No,
yellow
I
kits.
know
I'm
you
not, and
don't.
even though we go to Dortmund, I'm not a big fan of yellow. That's more of a custard yellow, that mate. That is the thing of beauty, really. I've
It
never seen
is.
that shirt before. Tell us about your shirt.
So, and I wasn't even an Everton fan at the time, but this is Everton's third kit from the 83-84 season. So obviously third kits weren't a thing then, but they had to have one for several fixtures because of colour clashes and the fact that their away kit was grey. Now, similar to Borough in the 14-15 season when we had to have that absolute thing of beauty, which was the all white and red Adidas kit, which I have and is one of my cherished possessions. This came up and it's made by, and I will name drop him because he's a lovely man. It's made by Mr. Richard Wilkinson, who is known as the Needle Wizard. He's the Pat Nevin of the sewing machine, and he's recreated this kit. And as soon as I saw it, I wanted one, so I bought one, and it's pretty
Okay.
much a mirror image of the original. Yes, it's an unusual yellow, but it's a just a beautiful thing. And
I
I
like
did
it.
like the Lecoq Sportive kits from that time. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a new purchase. It's my first time wearing it, mate, and I thought I'd debut it on the pod. So there you
Well,
go. Long
I'd
story
have
to
to
that one, but there you go.
I'd have to say episode 47 to get a new kit out. That's impressive, mate, because we wear kits. For those who don't know, we show the kits at the start on YouTube. For those who are not on YouTube and listening to it, we'll crack on because you can't see them and you don't care. We've called this episode Annoying Stuff, and it would be, as I mentioned very briefly, wrong and remiss of two Middlesbrough fans, home and away I am, and Dom's a season ticket holder at the Riverside, not to touch on what has been only described by most people as a shit show of a playoff semi-final two-leg affair against Southampton because of the distractions off the pitch with the alleged, and I say alleged, but they've been charged and they've accepted the charge, I believe, Spygate, which again, I hate the name Spygate. It should just be called Cheating Gate, because ultimately, if they're found guilty, they weren't guilty of spying, they were guilty of cheating. Um, I hate everything that's gone on with it. I hate the fact that it's taken away from the sporting spectacle. And I will say, by the way, for those who haven't seen them, two absolutely belting games of football as a brilliant advert for the Championship. Middlesbrough battered Southampton in the first 45 minutes, probably the first 60 minutes at Riverside on Saturday. Our season typically didn't score. They came out in the last half an hour and had a couple of chances that they could have nicked it, which would have been a travesty. We scored early on Tuesday night, silenced their crowd. They then came back into it more as a result of squad depth, squad rotation. You know, they bring three players off the bench worth 15 million quid. We bring on a kid that cost us 1 million, and you know, legs had gone and everything. So I'm not blaming that. Our season was done probably as a result of not getting automatic promotion. But Spygate, mate, it's been a shit show. It's been a distraction. It's not stopped. And the latest news as we record this is the EFL disciplinary committee hearing will be no later than next Tuesday, the 19th, which is 4 days before the proposed final at Wembley, which Hull, by the way, well done, have qualified for by beating Millwall over two legs. And my God, they were sensational in the second leg
Yes, they
at
were.
the Den.
Yes,
So,
they were.
thoughts, long intro, but I don't want to cover it in depth. It's been covered ad
Yeah.
infinitum. But what's your view on Spygate, where it leaves us, and what do you want to see out of it?
So I have a few pointers on this. I think generally overall, firstly, I'd like to say Southampton deservedly won the football over two legs. They were way better than us second leg. When we scored early on, the first thing out of my mouth was we need to, because they're absolutely in this and they'll come back and they will
Yeah.
score, and they did. I mean, a shout out to Ryan Manning, by the way. What a footballer he is. He had an absolutely astonishing game. Brilliant footballer. Really enjoyed watching him. I think he'd probably be good enough at a Premier League club. And if he doesn't go to one, I'd gladly snap him up in a heartbeat. Just want to put
What
that out, by the way.
what nationality is he?
I don't know. I don't know, but I really enjoy watching him play. I mean, they're a good team. Let's put it out there. And the point I wanted to make was, and I can't stress this enough, and I know a lot of Borough fans feel the same, is the Spygate going on in conjunction with the playoff semi-finals. At no point did I ever want Borough to get any kind of buy or benefit and just get a pass into a playoff final. I never want to see that. I only ever want to see Middlesbrough, or any team for that matter, earn their stripes and get to where they need to be on football merit and playing football. So I think with Spygate and what social media has become, it started off quite tame. You had a lot of Southampton fans saying it's embarrassing we hold our hands up, and there's a lot of good Saints fans out there who are still the same. But as social media is, you get a lot of toxicity. You get a lot of things like Chinese whispers where it starts to mutate, and all of a sudden, a lot of what I see, which is a shame, really, is a lot of Southampton fans, and it might be the minority, I don't know, saying that this is something we've concocted, that we wanted a backup plan because we knew we were going to lose the semi-final. Well, I have to say, me and you said quite a few times that we would have felt ourselves quite fortunate to get through those two games because Southampton are as good as they are.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and I genuinely mean that. I said it to my daughter when watching the game. I'm not sure we'll win this match, and if they end up winning it, I won't be surprised, and they did.
Mm.
Um, I don't think any.
Hang on. I have to say though, I don't think they were that
They
sensational on
weren't that. They
Tuesday night
weren't. I thought.
either.
I thought we were quite poor. I thought we sat back quite a lot. I thought we were very sloppy on the ball. We gave the ball away an awful lot. We created a lot of pressure on ourselves. I thought they were much tidier on the ball, much neater, really effective from set piece. Every set piece was just. I was
Yeah.
literally like, oh, they could get a goal here. I mean, there was a few antics, wasn't there, which were a bit unsavoury. Three pathetic attempts to try and win a penalty, which were a little bit embarrassing. And you've got the Luke Ayling incident, which we won't talk about because it's just it is what it is. But I think what annoys me is it's almost become this thing now where I feel that it started off with Middlesbrough just raising that actually there's been some cheating going on. I don't really. People have also said, Nick, and I think you'll be agreeable to this. It's they're now trying to down. A lot of Saints fans, neutrals, whatever, are trying to trivialise it into something. Oh well, it's just a kid with a phone. It doesn't mean anything. It absolutely my personal take is it absolutely does mean
Yeah,
something. Rules are rules, whether you like them or not, whether you think there's been any kind of advantage gained. Rules are rules. I'm sick of seeing online so many people have put, oh God, it's not like didn't know what the lineup was going to be, and if you look at it, there's no difference how it would have been played. So what difference does it make? It's like you're missing the point.
yeah.
No self-respecting Borough fan or the club is saying you've probably gained any kind of significant advantage. They might have gained some. That's the bit that I think is unconfirmed. We don't know what kind of advantage, but even if it's small, it's the simple fact that they've done something they simply shouldn't be doing.
The
End of.
fact the fact that they chose to do it is irrelevant to what they took from it. My view was the timing of that was the Thursday before the playoff first leg semi-final. At the time, we had an injury to Hayden Hackney, obviously player of the season in the championship. Was he going to come back? Was he on the grass? Was he light training? Was he likely to be a substitute? Was he likely to be available? We also had Alan Brown, who is potentially a centre midfield pairing with Aidan Morris. Was he training? Because he didn't play. He didn't start the
Yeah,
game on Saturday. What's that do to formation? Was Malanda, who is a centre half by trade, was he pushing into central midfield when we had the ball to try and support, Aidan Morris, etc. And we were going to try something different and try something new. Irrespective of all of that, if they tried to find that out, they could have stolen an advantage. Whether they did or they didn't is immaterial to me. The fact that they actually sent somebody up there. And the bit that gets me, well, there's two things that get me about this really. One is the first description of a defence by Southampton was allegedly this guy was a lone wolf acting on his own, right? Yeah, so he drove 400 and odd miles, did he, to film and record and stream back a training session 2 days before the biggest game of the season, and this guy's a senior analyst. You're not telling me he wouldn't be needed at Southampton in those 2 days leading up to the
yeah,
thing. So that's bullshit, right?
yeah.
The lone wolf thing is
Just
bullshit.
nonsense. Of course it is.
It'll just be proven to be bullshit if that's their defence. The second thing is their manager coach Tonda Eckhart has acted appallingly throughout this entire process. He has been a smirky, AI looking bloody hologram kind of person with no integrity, no humanity, no even admission that, hey, listen, if this has happened, we'd like to investigate it. He's just batted everything off as if it doesn't matter. And he's raised the prospect of it being, it's something, nothing. I now have got Southampton on my list of clubs that I detest, right? Not because of their fans, although they were lobbing stuff at the Borough coach on arrival on Wednesday or Tuesday at St Mary's, apparently. And the whole thing about trivialising something, that's just annoyed me. Thunder Eckhart, the club, the press people, the ball boy on, the whole thing about Southampton, they've acted appallingly since last Thursday. And at the moment, they've asked for extended time to carry out an internal investigation. You're not telling me that's not to delay as long as possible to reduce the options that the EFL have got. Because one of the options we talked about off air is if Southampton get kicked out on the basis of sporting integrity being breached, and for me, if there's evidence that they've breached sporting integrity, that's the ultimate sanction. The EFL will not allow, I don't think, Hull to get a free pass and get promoted without
No,
a final at Wembley because it's their showpiece final.
it is.
It must make the EFL millions and millions of pounds on global TV rights. So I don't want Borough to go and replace Southampton and just play Hull in the final
I
either
don't.
because we've been beaten by Southampton over two legs.
Fair and square.
We've had
Absolutely.
our shot. We've had our shot, right, and we didn't get there. But to make a final of relevance, and Hull, I feel sorry for Hull fans, by the way, because at the moment the final's at 4:30 on Saturday the 23rd of
Yeah, they're in
May.
limbo, aren't they? It could be
Well,
changed. It could be extended. They're in complete limbo. They don't know what they're doing.
hotels, trains, yet again, fans will be, well,
The
we might knock
last,
it.
yeah, exactly.
They might make it a Thursday night in the middle of the next week or something like that. God knows what they'll do,
Yeah, or extend it a week when people have booked their holidays, or and
Yeah,
they're just not telling anyone at all. So yeah, I feel sorry for them as
yeah.
well.
But you had a great idea off air, although I then poo-pooed the idea
Yeah,
because you said, well, in sporting integrity terms, Millwall have had their chance. They can't come back into it because they've got beat by Hull. That's fine. Borough were next in line, and if you talk about sporting wrong, would we play the team who came seventh? And that would be Wrexham. Now, there isn't time for a two-legged game. If we played Wrexham in replacement for Southampton, for me it would be a one-legged game, but it would also be probably at the Riverside because we finished above them. That's shit. It's shit for Wrexham. But Wrexham players, they'll be in Dubai, they'll be in,
on the
Las
beach, they've
Vegas, they'll be on the
finished. They've
beach, they'll be
finished.
drinking,
Yeah, it's
finished,
having to recall them, isn't it, and get them back into training. Now, the chances are. I mean, I don't say chances are. If they were to suddenly get rung up and said, actually, one-off game, you got a chance of getting to the championship playoff final, they'd be back in training in a heartbeat and they'd jump at the
Yeah,
chance. And I just want to make clear to anyone listening, if there's any Saints fans out there, me and Nick aren't. I'm not saying I want Southampton to be kicked out, and that's what I want the EFL to do. I'm just saying if the EFL make that decision, and that's their decision. I'm
yeah,
not saying because there's also been a lot of things saying this is what Middlesbrough want. They're encouraging it. Well, they're not. They're, they're not. But I
no,
want to put it out there that me and Nick aren't. I'm not encouraging that. I'm not saying that's what I want.
no,
I'm saying I want the EFL to make their decision independently, and it's their decision. And if their decision is they want to remove Southampton, I don't want Middlesbrough to have a free buy. I just don't want a free pass. I think there should be another game, and that's my solution of doing it. You reward the next in line, which is Wrexham, and you go
yeah.
again, and then you see who wins that, and they play Hull, and you get a winner. And I think that's a reasonable way of doing it, personally.
I do, but for timing and logistics,
Yeah.
that might be difficult. But the other one is a lot of people have said, well, Southampton get a heavy fine. Well, if Southampton get a £200 million windfall, a heavy fine means
Oh, it's
nothing.
pointless. It's absolutely pointless, mate. I agree.
And then they get a points deduction next time they're in the championship, assuming they get promoted. Well, if they don't get promoted, by the way, we're all Hull fans, aren't we now? If they don't get promoted, then they'll get a heavy points deduction next season, and it gives the EFL chance and time to make the right decisions over the summer. Um, but there's more and more clubs allegedly coming out of the woodwork, and if that turns out to be a 20-match unbeaten run because spying has been an element of what they've done to get to tactical advantage, that point deduction should be -20 for me.
It should
It
be a
shouldn't
big
be
one. Yeah,
-3. It should be
yeah. It's.
-20.
I was thinking about this last night to myself, and I was thinking if it transpires that this young analyst, who apparently, if it's true and it's the guy they say it is, he apparently is part of Eckhart's backroom team. And if he's part of Eckhart's backroom team, and again, I could be wrong, so I'm not trying to, put two and two together and come up with five. But if you're a member of the manager's backroom team, would you really be there just on an ad hoc basis, of your own whim? Oh, hey, boss, I just decided at the last minute to drive 5 hours up to Teesside. I've
Take
got
a
my
couple of
phone
days. I
out.
took a couple of days off, by the way. I took a couple of days off for your time.
I've got my phone out and I'm recording everything. And what do you think? If you had any self-respect, if that's how it went down as a manager, straight away you'd be like,
You're
you'd
fired.
report it and say, and you'd also come out and say straight away, this has happened and we don't know anything about it. We,
Yeah,
we don't sanction this, we don't condone it. You'd immediately come out for the integrity of the game because you'd know that even then you'd probably be punished, but your punishment would be extremely minimal. But the fact that I agree with you, I don't, and I'm not trying to cast aspersions on Eckhart, but I don't think he's come out of this looking particularly well. And
no.
sadly as well, Hellberg's coming for some merciless criticism, saying, "Oh, he's pathetic. All these things about what he's saying about, he's heartbroken and everything else." It's like, hang on a second. Again, fucking head's gone. Neutrals or Southampton fans with one fucking brain cell. Read the room, pay attention, and just listen to what he's saying. What he's saying is there are rules, and the English game is held in high esteem because of the fact that it's of its history, of its rules, of its integrity, of which they're all slowly eroding. And yes, lots of people have said, well, this goes on all the time. Well, it might, but it's not supposed to go on 72 hours before a game, which again, people seem to be missing that particular point. But the point he made was really pertinent. He said, so 2 weeks before the playoff final and the end of the season, or 10 days, however long it is, he said, I'm sacrificing time with my family and I'm just spending all the time I have watching all of these games, analysing Southampton, looking at different things that I can pick up that I might be able to use. I'm doing my work. I'm putting hard graft in. I'm putting hard yards in. He said, but all they then do is they just rock up unannounced, breaking the law, and just decide that they won't do all that and they'll just record you.
Yeah.
He's making a valid point. What he's trying to say is whether you think they've gained anything or not, whether you think it's trivial or not, whether you think someone stood behind a tree with a phone is pointless or gimmicky or comical, as someone said to me on LinkedIn the other day, which was just, again, another head's gone.
Yeah.
It's not. And he's making a very valid point. They're not doing it, so why should Southampton do it? So in other words, if you just get a little rap on the knuckles, a bit like with Chelsea and their fines, and so, it's all right. You've done some insider dealing and all your stuff with your agents. It's okay, Chelsea. Off you go.
Do it again.
We don't mind. Don't do it again, will you? If that's what they do to Southampton, it's just making a mockery of the rule. It's basically saying, free for all, everyone. Off you go. Fill your fucking boots. Cheat all you want. Do what the fuck you like, because nothing will ever happen. Yeah. So you do need to pay attention to the detail. And what Hellberg says is right, because let's be honest here, if that guy's in Eckhardt's backroom team and that's what he's doing, and if he has done it more than once, and it really has been going on a long time, that for me is the key element there, Nick, because that for me is the bit where it goes, oh, hang on. Once, it's like, okay, that's bad enough, but the punishment might not be that severe. If they do find out that he's been doing it a hell of a lot, and they have been they have been remarkably successful since January, and again, people will say, well, how much information do you get to make you so successful? You've still got to do it on the pitch and all. Well, yeah, we get all that. But if they've been doing that time after time after time, and he's part of his backroom stuff, are you honestly telling me that they're not all in on it and they don't fully know what's going on?
Exactly.
Come on. We're not born yesterday and we're not fucking morons.
On that basis, basically the EFL wanted Middlesbrough to win, didn't they, on Tuesday night? It would have made their job so much easier.
A lot easier. Exactly.
We win, move on and play Hull. And, Southampton stay down and they're in the eye of the storm of how they get dealt with from the EFL. At the moment, there might not even be an AFL club next season if they don't get punished. They do go to Wembley, they do beat Hull, and then it's like they'll be sticking two fingers up as they get in the escalator, won't they? And it'll just all be wrong. So that's enough on Spygate, because it's bigger brains than ours independently.
Yes,
will be sorting out and deciding. It says before. It doesn't say it's the 19th. Before the 19th.
Before the 19th.
On or before the 19th. What that is will annoy 50% of people. It'll probably annoy 70% of people, and it'll be what it'll be, and we'll deal with what we deal with. But I want to put it out there, like you just said there. I'm not sat here as a bitter Borough fan thinking that we deserve a bye. We don't. We got beat fair and square over two legs. What the advantage that you took as a Southampton team into those two legs, we don't know. Let's move on from there.
And all I'd say on that, mate, I would second that. And I just want to reiterate again, I think what's annoyed me out of all this is we didn't instigate it, we didn't create it, it happened to us. But because of how it's all been purported and distorted and twisted, we're looking as bad, and I don't know how this has happened, but we're almost looking as bad as Southampton, because people are trying to say that we're trying to gain something out of it. I can absolutely tell you, as two fans of the club and season ticket holders, it's the last thing I wanted to be associated with my club. I don't want to be tarnished like this, and sadly, I feel like we've been tarnished now as much as them, and we've done nothing wrong. All
Yeah,
we've done is highlighted and called something out that's wrong that every other club would have done. And if it happened to Southampton, I've seen loads of fans saying, "Oh, we just would have laughed about it, got on with it." Absolute
absolute
fucking
bollocks.
bollocks. No, you wouldn't. You'd have reported it and you'd have tried to do something about it. And I don't
Yeah,
think Steve Gibson or anyone else has tried to get this to a point where it's about getting the sporting advantage. Steve Gibson isn't like that. He pulls it up and raises it because it's a wrongdoing. Whatever the outcome of that is, he just wants to make sure that that outcome is
yeah.
fair and it actually is a punishment to that club. It's got to be a deterrent, and that's my final word on it as well.
Okay, well, we've covered Spygate longer than I wanted to, but that's
Yes.
okay because it's a complex subject. I will finish on it that Jason Cunty and Jamie O'Hara were just laughing about it on
Fucking
Talksport.
morons,
They
though.
they are
Seriously.
absolute morons. Those two. They have
Thick as
no
fuck, the
idea.
pair of them, how they're on the radio and why people listen to them. It's literally, they just say stuff to get a rise. It's just clickbait nonsense. I mean,
Yeah,
Cunty will he'll still be fucking livid that we beat Chelsea in 1988. He'll still be
yeah,
probably sulking about it. I mean,
yeah.
but that's talk shite for you, isn't it? I mean,
It
it
is.
literally is talk shite. So, but
So
say more about that.
on the subject of talk shy, I'll come to it shortly. I've got one more annoying thing. It's connected to the game on Tuesday, but it's not about Borough and it's not about Southampton. It's about referees dropping down from the Premier League to referee important championship games. Now, what I'm going to say is we've touched on this before, but on Tuesday night at St Mary's, in what was always going to be a pressure cooker of a game, lots at stake, lots of backdrop history over the Saturday, lots of Spygate stuff going on, and lots of animosity and all that going on. So, what do the PGMOL decide to do? They decide to appoint Bobby Madley to be in charge of the Southampton Borough game, right? So, Bobby Madley on Saturday at the weekend was refereeing a Premier League game. I can't remember which one it was, and he basically gave two yellow cards for pretty significant fouls on the pitch on Saturday. Both of those fouls were asked to be looked at by him at the monitor by VAR, and he was overturned by someone in a van from yellow to red in both occasions. So it's basically saying, Bobby Madley, your decision making is shit. Never mind. He's also the referee. If you remember when Newcastle played Villa at Villa Park in the FA Cup third round, that was non VAR because it was third round of the FA Cup. Bobby Madley gave a penalty to, I think it was to Villa, but the offence, the tackle, it wasn't just on the edge of the box, it was 2 yards away from being inside the
Yeah,
box.
it was.
And he also got 4 or 5 decisions so badly wrong in that game that the Premier League suspended him for 2 weeks. And that was only in January. So this guy's had a 2 week suspension in January. He got two massive decisions wrong on the pitch on Saturday for yellow cards that were overturned and upgraded to reds because he can't make a decision. And yet, what to do? Oh, we'll give him the Championship playoff second leg in a pressure cooker and a powder keg of a game at St Mary's. And I'll tell you what, Bobby Madley on Tuesday had an absolute
Yeah,
shocker.
he did.
He had an absolute stinker. I'll tell you
He
why he had a
did.
stinker. Because he can't make a fucking decision. He can't make a fucking decision because he's used to VAR. I mean, there's a few penalty decisions are subjective, except they're not. When the referee's got a clear view of a handball in every way, shape, or form in every game this season.
Yeah,
The guy, the Matsuki or whatever they call him for Southampton, might as well have been playing basketball, right? Ding, 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 bouncing up and down with his hand. And Bobby Madley touched
that.
his
Yeah, yeah,
shoulder,
he did.
touched
It
his
was nowhere
shoulder.
near. It hit
As
his hand.
it either, it
And
either,
it did affect the trajectory of the. Like, I want to point out here as well, listeners and viewers. I think we're quite subjective and quite um,
balanced.
balanced is the word I'm looking for on penalties. And I do look at things and think, oh, honestly, where's that come from? But on that one, I thought that was quite significant because it did change the
Yeah,
trajectory of the ball, and
yeah.
he missed it by a mile. I also thought we're going to sound like we're Borough boys here. I
No,
hate the
no,
fact we do,
you're
but we
good.
are.
Hang on, hang on,
But
hang on,
the
hang on.
one on
You're going to
Strelec as
mention the
well.
one on Strelick in the
Strelec.
first minute.
Yeah, those two for me, I felt were penalties. And I know Southampton fans, if they're listening,
No, no.
yeah,
Southampton could have easily had one of two as well, I think. There was a couple where Dale Fry got tangled with, I think it might have been the guy who came on for Ross Stewart. There was a couple of contentious issues for them.
Kyle Larin, the only one for me,
Laren, yeah,
the only one for me that you could have possibly had a bit of a debate over or a thought over was the Kyle Larin one. The
yeah,
other two for me,
no,
Ross
dives.
Stewart and is it Stienza?
Cienza, oh,
Stienza. I mean, the two of them were you could clearly see they were deliberately looking for it. I mean, they
yeah,
literally
yeah,
went. You could almost blow them over, or
yeah,
waft a feather and they'd gone over. Those
yeah,
two for me, I think if you're giving penalties for stuff like that, it's allowing because you can see they're trying to buy it. Larin,
yeah.
I think he went down a little bit easy, but I also thought
Seen them given.
I've seen it. I was just going to say I've seen them given, and worryingly, I don't think Dale Fry fully knew he was there, which
No,
also means that there is some contact and it is debatable. So I get that one, and I agree with you. I also thought once he started with the cards, he
oh,
was just card happy. He didn't deal with any situation particularly well. He didn't deal with the Luke Ayling situation particularly well,
no,
and yeah, it's worrying when you can see that a referee is in a mess, and you can also see how, personally, this is my view, how the influence of VAR has made referees quite lazy
yeah.
because they're no longer prepared to really pay that much attention and stick their neck out. It's almost like they've got used to this backup of, well, they'll cover me, and
Yeah.
in that game there was no one covering them. But
Whoever plays in the championship playoff final, I hope they don't give us, whoever it might be, a Premier League referee dropping down
no, I
on
agree.
the basis that it's like someone who says, "Oh, look, we've got a really good Premier League referee." They're all shit without VAR. They're all shit with VAR, by the way, as well. But it needs to be a championship ref
Yeah,
who's
it
not had
does.
VAR because
Yeah.
we had Gerard Gillett, whatever they call him, at Ipswich the other week, and he was shit. And he's a Premier League ref, and he was shit not just for us. He was shit in general with his decision making, his
He just
cards, his
yeah,
awful.
he's one of those referees that barely lets you have. I mean, if you even touch an opponent,
Yeah, yeah,
stop, free kick. Whoa,
yeah.
whoa, whoa,
Anyway, we're
whoa.
on the we're
Yeah,
on the subject of annoying stuff. There's a bit of a VR heavy stuff on here, and I apologise for that because it this is for people who are not in the in the Premier League stuff. But I watch a lot of football. I don't care whether the Arsenal West Ham game. I don't care whether it was a goal. I really don't care whether or not Raya was fouled. I don't care. What I care about is VAR was brought in for clear and obvious. Clear and obvious. How is 5 minutes and 17 camera angles clear and obvious? It's like if you watch any number of Arsenal games this season, they've scored a lot of goals from corners and from set pieces and things, and they're all having a melee. I'm not saying Arsenal do it; they all do it, right? But if it takes 5 minutes and 17 camera angles to decide if it was a goal or it wasn't a goal, and I'm not bothered whether there's a foul by Declan Rice on somebody else or whether I don't, was that before Ray got fouled? It doesn't matter to me. Clear and obvious means I've looked at it. I've looked at it once or twice, and actually, you've got that wrong, referee. No, actually, let me see that again in 15 different
yeah.
angles.
Let me look at all these different
Almost
angles that are,
bullshit.
isn't in real time. Let me slow it down to this point. Let me look at this angle. I think what annoyed me about that is it's just, and again, this is similar to what we were saying about Spygate. You start getting all this blend of you'll have a lot of Arsenal fans. I mean, there's a lot of Arsenal fans who think that people have got it in for them and don't want them to win. If that's the case, I find that a bit sad. I mean, I know it's a thing because I've spoken to people who do want them not to win.
Yeah,
I've commented on quite a few things about this, and I've made the point clear that I've got no skin in the game, and actually, I do want Arsenal to win the league. I'd far rather they win it than City. So I'm not saying it because I want to see ill of Arsenal. I'm more annoyed at the fact that the inconsistency of how VAR is being applied, because it's not being applied fairly across all games. It just isn't. It's so sloppy. This week has been really interesting when they released the audio of what goes on. Like the Everton one, where the guy literally was almost like, he just literally battered it out with his hand. And all they kept saying, and it didn't even look at it properly, all they kept saying the whole time was, it's an accident, it's accidental, it's accidental, it's accidental. Well, no, yes, he can't see the ball, but he's not just brushed it or touched it. He scooped it out with his hand. We didn't even get a corner from that. We didn't even get a corner. And it was a blatant pen. But it's sloppy, mate. They spend hardly any time on it. It's like, it's Everton, West Ham, who gives a fuck? Whereas the Arsenal one, hang on. So, and I'm not being bitter here. This is true. And Arsenal fans, you can deny it all you like, but it's a fact. Arsenal have been butchering keepers all fucking season. They've been round keepers, fouling keepers. And for once, Gary Neville made a good point. How is that different to the foul that they incurred on United's keeper? It's not. No. It's not. So it's the inconsistency that drives people mad. And in a game like that, when that happened, there was such a melee going on. And this is something else that the game's allowed. They've allowed this absolute nonsense at corners and set pieces where they all pull each other around, grapple each other, wrestle each other, to the point where they're not dealing with it and stamping it out. So that then creates this melee and this mess where if there's a foul created or done, it all gets blurred. Yeah. So in that situation, the way I looked at it, mate, and my feeling on it was, and I've commented on someone on our group on it who said it literally felt like 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. And that's how I felt. It was so congested and there was arms and legs everywhere. There was bodies everywhere. There was arms around people.
Yeah.
It was such a mess. And Ray had come out and jumped for it. And yes, you could say he's impeded, but he also came out pretty quickly to a point where it's like, actually, have you slightly overcommitted? Was he getting that ball?
No.
Lots of people say, yes, he was. I don't think you can say it. So I come back to where football naturally used to be, which was take VAR out of it. That's a goal. It's an opportunist goal and it's a fair goal. You can gripe about it all you like afterwards, but actually, it was a goal. Yeah. I just think that was it. To your point, it wasn't. Loads of people said it was clear and obvious all day. Bullshit. No, it wasn't. If it was clear and obvious, everyone would have been screaming straight away. Foul on the keeper. Arteta was doing this. Handball. Well, it's unless he was doing this because he was going, unless, forgive me, he meant arm across his neck. I don't know.
Yeah.
But to your point, mate, 17 angles, 5 minutes. It just becomes something where you're literally destroying the game. Whereas the beauty of not having VAR, you might still be annoyed, you might still be cross, but it would all blow over a lot quicker. Do you not think?
I'm annoyed by Bobby Madley. I'm annoyed by his performance on Tuesday night. But would I have VAR in the Championship? Would I? Hell, no chance. I'd rather put up with the shit ref and live with it and say, you know what? That's what
exactly
football
right
used to be about.
It blows over quicker, doesn't it? It's like before VAR. Sometimes you'd look at it and there'd always be ones where there was like clear injustices. Yeah. I remember one at Everton Chelsea away a few years under Martinez 10 years ago where we were winning in injury time and Chelsea scored an equaliser and he was he was literally about 10 metres offside. It was an absolute scandal. Shocker. That's the kind of thing where VAR now will be like, no. Well, you'd hope that would be the case.
I don't mind. See, I don't mind offside. I don't mind offside, and I don't mind goal line technology. The rest of it's bullshit, right?
Oh, it is. You
can do offside without VAR. You can do offside with this semi-automated offside rule. You don't need a man in a van. The system will work because VAR is killing football, and I don't want it in the Championship. And I don't care if we've got shit refs. I'd rather have shit refs with the honesty of the fact that you just shit.
They've made a mistake. Yeah,
right. Because I don't think we talked about referee decisions previously anywhere near as much as we talk about VAR now.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We just used to say, "Oh, the refs had a mare there," and then you kind of
move on.
And I think that was the beauty of it, mate. I think I think fans in general accepted that you're always going to get human error and that refereeing a game of football is hard. And I
Yeah.
think they gave the referee um, more leniency and a bit more support on the basis that they knew that actually that referee is making a decision in a split second when something's happening ridiculously quick. And I think fans always, in the back of their minds, had that as like a almost like a sort of deep rooted small bit of respect that actually it's hard. Whereas now that's been stripped away because
Yeah.
everything gets to a point where it's like, well, you should be presented with it on a plate. Even then, you're sometimes worrying about what VAR are giving them to look at. And
Well,
even when it's blatantly obvious, it's like, oh, come on, seriously.
everything looks worse in slow motion. Right, very
Yeah.
quickly, because again, stuff we hate and stuff that's pissed me off. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Motherwell Celtic last
Oh,
night.
yeah.
Oh man, I'll tell you now. Talk about big team. Uh, McGuinness is absolutely apoplectic, isn't he? I watched the end of the Hearts game, 3-0, and I flicked it over, and it was 2-2 at Motherwell. And I'm thinking to myself, that just means Hearts need to avoid a defeat by a 2-0 defeat, and they'll still win the title on
Yeah.
Saturday. They could not wait to give Celtic a VAR penalty, and
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, the guy goes up with his hand and his hand's there just to get him purchase, and he headed it with the centre of his forehead. It never went near his hand, and the referee was called over to the screen. The second he was called over the screen, he gives a penalty. I think that's one of the most disgraceful decisions. That and Senesi recently played for Bournemouth against Palace. He just fooled the referee with the most blatant, obvious fall over, and referees fall for it every time. Senesi cheated the referee. VAR cheated Hearts last night,
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
if Hearts don't win the title on Saturday, and here's the other thing, by the way, that's annoyed me. I don't understand how the split works in Scotland, but from what I understand historically, the team who finish at the top before the split always get their last game at home as the last game of the season. So why are Celtic playing Hearts at Celtic Park on the last game of the season on Saturday? Why are they not playing at Hearts? Why have Celtic got that advantage over Hearts, who finished above them when the split was introduced? I don't understand the split. I don't even want someone to. It's like trying to explain why Easter's not on the same day every year. I don't understand. I never will. But VAR last night killed Scottish football. And if Hearts don't win, I'll tell you now, that will be a direct result of someone in a van in Scotland just pressing for Celtic to have a say in the end of the season. It was an absolute fucking
Oh,
disgrace.
it was a disgrace. I mean, you know, was his arm in an unnatural position? We've had this debate till we're blue in the face. When you're jumping for a ball to head it, and and bearing in mind it's accepted that you're going to have some contact in terms of you're on the player to get up there and head it. Your hand can be in an unnatural position. Was what was the defender trying to get any advantage from having his hand? If it even vaguely touched his hand, was he trying to get any advantage from having his hand there? No. Did you see how far the ball went out when he headed it? Was that from his hand? No, because his
No,
hand didn't do that, did it? His hand
no,
didn't do that. His hand stayed there.
yeah.
It's
It didn't hit his hand, Dom. It did not hit his hand. It did not. He headed it with the centre of his forehead.
yeah,
His hand was next to his face because he was trying to get purchase on the attacker. He headed it with the centre of his forehead, and someone in a van thought, you know what? Let's take this to the end of the season. Let's give Celtic an
it's
advantage. It was a
yeah. The only person who I've seen defend it. Oh, what a surprise, Chris Sutton. I mean, it's like fuck off,
oh
Chris, because you used to play. It's like Martin Keown defending and going on about Arsenal. It's like
oh
Martin, you're just not neutral.
yeah.
Patrick Vieira is the same. It's like, sorry lads,
Shut up.
great. Sorry lads, you were great players and you played in a brilliant team, but fuck right off because you're not neutral. And
Yeah,
also, Martin, you're supposed to be a pundit now, and you still can't, give a definitive decision on anything. So just piss off,
yeah, yeah.
seriously. And Chris
We are
Sutton,
by
who
we
is
are by the way after going to put a parental control on this episode,
oh,
aren't we?
do you know what? I just think if you're going to be a pundit and you're going to be asked questions, don't sit on the fence.
Yeah,
Just
toss it.
say what you feel. And Chris Sutton is like, come on, Chris, you played for Celtic. Are you honestly telling me you haven't got skin in the game? I agree with you, mate. We might sound a bit dramatic here, but that really Scottish football's picked up in the last couple of seasons in terms of actually people look at it now and think other teams have got a chance. There is a little bit more of a level playing field where people actually thought there isn't and there never is going to be, and all of a sudden there is. I think every single neutral in the country wants Hearts to win just because of the fact that no one really, whether you like them or not, and it's not about their histories and what they've done or whether you like the clubs, respect the clubs. Do you honestly just want a league where Celtic and Rangers dominate everything every single year? Of course you don't.
For
And I
40
agree with
years.
you. I agree with you. That was a weak as piss decision. And the referee should be ashamed of himself, to be honest.
He should go to the VAR on the screen and go,
And
no,
go, absolutely no.
not, absolutely
I'm
not.
fine with it, thanks. It's not a penalty all day long. And
No
referees
balls.
should be the more if referees had more backbone and grew a fucking spine and actually started going to the monitor and saying, no, I'm fine, thanks. It
Yeah,
might actually change how VAR's used because
yeah.
that was literally like, oh, and you could go a bit far to say, "Oh, the game's corrupt," and they were looking for that. And as soon as they got their opportunity, it was there because they want that, and they want Celtic to still be in it, and they want it to go to the last game of the season, etc. And I hate myself at even thinking it because if it was true and you don't know if it is or not, you'd probably stop watching football. But there's always a small party that thinks, "Is that happening? Are
Yeah.
they doing that?" Because there's so much money in the game. There's so many things where people influence things and say we can't have them not part of it.
That
The
was
last game of
never
the season, and it's
that was
worrying, isn't it? It's
never a
really
penalty.
worrying.
It was never a penalty. That's the end of that for me. I've got a couple of other things, conscious of time. Villa recently played Spurs and they played a weakened team. And it was in between the Europa League semi-finals. Is it fair? Spurs benefit. West Ham obviously were furious. Is it Villa's prerogative? Does it question the integrity of the game? The relegation dogfight is now come down to two, hasn't it? Spurs and West Ham.
Mm.
Any marginal gain will help one or the other. And I think for Villa to field a weakened team because they're in between their Europa League semi-finals, I think it's fair enough to say to Villa, it's your squad, you can do what you want. But if you're a West Ham fan, you're going to be furious at that, aren't you? And Spurs who hadn't won an away game since bloody Christmas, suddenly win comfortably at Villa, who've got a really decent home record, by the way.
Yeah, they have.
The whole thing smells just a bit fishy to me. Is it Villa's fault? Does it matter? Is it Spurs' gain and West Ham have to suck it up? What's your view on that?
It's a really interesting one, that mate. We've had it before. I remember, we've had it. Neil Warnock's complained about it in the past, hasn't he? Or bygone days of that happening, and he's got a really good point. And Emery came out, days later and said it was on him because it was his decision. But I look at that as well, and the Villa fans were really pissed off about it as well, and they were
Yeah.
pissed off because it impacted and jeopardised them finishing fourth. And so they were really and rightly annoyed. You want your best players playing, and I've never been I kind of get it to a degree, but I've never bought this rubbish of I need to rest my players because are you honestly telling me these athletes, these fit footballers that have all this elite training and nutrition can't play 2 games a week? Really? And
But
you
they've only
play
got 4 games left.
4 games left. It's late on in the season. And I don't mean this disrespectfully, Spurs, but you're also playing Spurs. So play your best team. If you're playing your best team and you end up getting 2-3 ahead, which if they played the best team, they might. I'm not. Do you know what? It might want to be one of those games where they didn't, but you
Yeah.
might think actually they could. You can then start resting players and substituting players because their own fans are annoyed that it's like, well, actually, we'd rather finish fourth and nail on a Champions League and finish above everyone else and have the best season, the best finish we can. And I can see why West Ham were annoyed because I think it does hand some level of advantage to a team that's struggling, and you are helping them in terms of if they can get into a game, get a goal, and you're playing a weakened team, they can sense that and smell it, and they did, and they got the
Yeah,
result, and it's
yeah,
that result that's changed things around because. And we're not saying Spurs fans that you might not have won it anyway. For all we know, you might. But just let's say you hadn't,
yeah,
you'd still be in the bottom three. Let's say you'd got a draw. Actually, you'd still be out the bottom three on goal difference, but it would
yeah.
make it a lot more squeaky
Challenging.
bum time,
It
challenging.
would.
Yeah.
It would.
So I can leagues enforce it? Possibly not. It
Not
is
sure
the
you
club.
can. Can you?
Not
You've got a
we
squad,
can't.
haven't
No,
you?
I just think it. I just think again, it comes down to maybe his managers being a bit more self-aware, respectful of what's on the line elsewhere, and
Yeah.
saying actually, we need to do right by everyone else and play our strongest team. So lads, you know,
And I will play the overseas card, by the way. Unai Emery, is he aware of this historic integrity of the Premier League? Maybe
yeah,
he isn't so much.
maybe,
You know,
yeah,
I'm not.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
it's just an interesting perspective as to whether he just thinks, well, in Spain we always do it when if we're going to play Real Madrid or Barcelona and they're massively in form, we'll play a weakened team against them to save ourselves for a midweek game
yeah,
against somebody
yeah,
better. You know what I
maybe.
mean? So maybe that's just a
And
cultural thing.
And again, I'd ask the question. You know, if he played his full strength team, would any of the players complained? I don't know if players go, oh, do you know what, boss? I could do
I'm
with a bit.
knackered.
I'm not sure they would. I think they'd want to play.
No,
You know,
I don't
strikers
think.
want to score goals. Players want to play every game.
Yeah,
So my take on it is, I think that's on the manager because I think the players would have played with no complaint. So I think that comes. I don't think the league can ever enforce it. I don't really think I'd expect the league to because that's a hard one. I think it should be it just should be perhaps made more aware. Managers, when at this time of year, you need to be mindful of your actions do actually influence something elsewhere. And other people will turn around and say, it's on them. It's West Ham's fault. They're down there for a reason. They're doing all of this. It's so tough. Who gives a shit? But it's like,
yeah,
hang on. It is still about, making
yeah.
sure everything's at full strength. So, yeah.
Okay. Last thing. This is right in your wheelhouse, mate. I know you like a
Okay.
wheelhouse. I'm just conscious of time, so a very short response, really. Something that's annoyed me was entitled Man City fans leaving Hill Dickinson at 3-1 down. Obviously, Everton the
Yeah.
other week, 81 minutes. And then that included one of the Gallaghers. I don't know which one. They're both wankers, so
No.
I never
Yeah.
know one from which one for the other. They're both tosspots. But then Haaland scored from the kickoff. Basically, didn't need to make it 3-2, and they're all trying to rush back in. Eventually, they got a 3-all draw and celebrating like it's like the biggest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
But they were quite prepared to piss off down the East Lancs Road at 3-1, though, weren't they? I hate that. I wish they'd locked them out and bloody, God knows, taking the bloody transport
Yeah.
off them. We had to walk
I
home.
was, yeah, I was really surprised at that because I was looking at him thinking, but you Man City, you get late goals
Yeah,
all the time. I mean, go back a few seasons ago when you won the league and Villa was it with Villa 3 or 4 nil up and they came back
yeah,
and won
3-1.
4-3 or
Yeah,
5,
yeah, something like
something
yeah.
ridiculous like they scored 3 or 4 goals in 10 minutes. It's like, hang on, you're walking out the ground on 81 minutes. There's at least another 15, 16 minutes, which there was
Yeah.
and you're Man City. So you surely, as a club, if you've been and watched and paid attention enough, you must know they're more than capable of getting back into this.
Bottom lip, absolute bottom
Oh
lip.
yeah, it's like, do you know what? For once as well, they didn't come out with their usual bollocks that they normally do. I mean, some of their fans are just. I mean, people who maybe listen. I used to have quite a strong affection and affinity for Man City. I lived in Manchester for 7 years. I was there as a student in the early 90s when Man City definitely were the second club.
Yeah.
I was there within the third division. Always admired the fact that they had 30,000 fans there plus, week in, week out, thick or thin, proper fans, really good lads, good people, great ground at Main Road. And there's probably still a lot of fantastic fans and a lot of, really good people. But there is also an element now of because they've been where they are for the last 15 years, and it's like, Jesus, I don't know. It just bothers me a little bit because I'm thinking, wow, surely if you're really in it, you've come all this way. Why would you
Yeah,
just walk out at 81, 82 minutes? And I also want to say very quickly, we shot ourselves in the foot there. If we just,
yeah,
that just shows our naivety and how stupid we were. Because if we just had a bit of composure and just, held that out until rode it out 3-1 into added time, just made it hard, made it difficult, there's a good chance we'd have won that. And weirdly, at 81, 82 minutes, as an Everton fan, because we are used to shooting ourselves in the foot, but also just how good Man City are,
yeah.
you're always thinking, actually, this game is not over. And
So
weirdly,
why did thousands of them leave? Because they're all tossers,
decide to come out. Exactly, it's not over.
entitled pricks,
We were
all of them.
absolutely thinking this isn't over. If they get a second, it's going to be squeaky bum time. And then
Yeah,
because they got the second straight away, you're like, oh no.
yeah,
And you could honestly feel that third coming.
yeah.
Do you know what? Great game of football, second half. Lots of positives, but again, defensively, we were terrible. And that's one for another pod. But yeah, I agree. I you know me. I've never understood people who walk out of a game. So yeah,
Okay.
bonkers.
On that, we've had a lot of annoying things. It's been a bit Spygate, VAR heavy. We apologise. We don't apologise, actually. Those are the things that pissed us off. We'll talk about what we're going to talk about in the next episode shortly. So that's been episode 47. And that has been annoying stuff, as I said in the intro. It's right in our heartland, shall we say? So we know, the kind of people that listen to us and what they're like, and they seem to like us having a good old bleat. This has been, as ever, in conjunction with Huddle Up, our mental health and wellness partners for the EFL Championship and National League. They're looking to work with clubs who are looking to help their supporters in terms of accessing fantastic facilities, for wellness, well-being, mental health, etc. If you've got any influence at a club or at a supporter level, commercially or whatever, then please get in touch with Adam Franklin and Connor Bottle, doing some great work. That has been episode 47. Episode 48, we've got more stuff to talk about. I've already prepped it. We thought we were going to talk about this in episode 47, but we haven't because we're run out of time because things have annoyed us a bit more than we thought they would. We're going to talk about respectful things that we like. We're going to talk about intriguing things. And I've got a list of what the fuck stuff as well. So, because there's always something to talk about. And that's what we're going to talk about in episode 48. So, without further ado, Dom, great to see you again, mate. And we'll catch up with you again very shortly.
And you, mate. Yeah, I really enjoyed that one. It's, maybe it's not for everyone, but we enjoyed it. And I hope there's a lot of stuff there that people find interesting to listen to. And it's just our take on it, but it's food for thought as always. And yeah, on to the next one with a lot more stuff to talk about, mate. Yeah, see you then.
Okay. See you, mate. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.